The proposed facility is intended to be constructed at Tract A, Ressouvenir, within meters of residences in Ressouvenir, Happy Acres, and Felicity. The developer is Vista Trading and Logistics Guyana Inc., a company owned by two Trinidadian siblings and their Guyanese mother. Due to the nature of the proposed facility, however, residents of surrounding communities disagree with the location, citing adverse health and environmental risks. Moreover, the residents are concerned by the seemingly irregular manner in which the Environmental Protection Agency has exercised its statutory duties in considering the developer's application for environmental authorization. In fact, the EPA has waived the requirements for an environmental and social impact assessment. At a public hearing on Thursday, Moin Macdoum Jr., an affected resident and attorney at law, contended that people's health and well-being are under threat and that the EPA is showing scant regard for this.
This has potential for the same lung damage and the same death from respiratory issues arising from that, but there's no vaccine for a cement plant. There's vaccine for COVID. So when COVID is done, we the residents in the area, and I am a resident in the area, will be left to deal with the cement batching facility forever. This is not a place that's storing steel or storing wood or anything like that. This is something that can be emanated into the atmosphere that is very hazardous.
The Environmental and Social Impact Assessment, ESIA, is a study of the potential impact the proposed project might have on the surrounding environment, including the steps the project's developer would put in place to reduce or avoid the severity of the impact. For context, when applications for proposed projects are received by the EPA, they are screened to determine whether an ESIA is required. According to the EPA, if they find that an ESIA is not required, a public notice is placed in the newspaper outlining the EPA's decision. Through this notice, affected or concerned parties can raise their concerns and objections about the EPA's decision to not require this ESIA. What the residents found disturbing, however, is the fact that the EPA opted to place this public notice only once in a singular newspaper, the Guyana Chronicle, and as such only one appeal was filed by Singer Guyana Inc. and Shahabuddin Ahmad through their attorney-at-law, Sayan Dujan. At a hearing, however, the attendees, who comprised residents in person and via Zoom, were informed that the purpose of the meeting was to hear technical evidence solely from the appellants justifying their objection to the EPA's decision to waive the ESIA. In his presentation, Durjan indicated that his clients had requested to view the documents used by the EPA to arrive at their decision to waive this ESIA, namely the screening score and the monitoring tool. Without this information, Durjan said his clients could not be satisfied that the EPA effectively met their statutory requirements in ascertaining how the work of the proposed facility would adversely impact residents in the surrounding areas. These were not immediately provided, and many questions posed to the EPA at that hearing were left unanswered. Following that meeting, Durjan stated that the residents he represented were not satisfied with the hearing.
They are in dereliction of their duty. Their duty is to require an environmental impact assessment into any project that may significantly affect the environment. But they, without knowing about the key criteria about the project, have decided that it will not affect the environment. And that is a dereliction of their statutory duty. It is a breach of their lawful function. And we will go as far as necessary.
The EPA has not yet approved the project and pointed out that approvals from other agencies, including the Central Housing and Planning Authority and the Neighborhood Democratic Council, are still outstanding. The EAB is now expected to deliberate on the matter, address the residents' concerns, and determine if only an environmental management plan would suffice. No indication was given as to when the EAB will decide or how the decision will be communicated to the residents. However, it is important to note that Durjan stated that if no favorable solution is met, some of the residents will be instituting court proceedings against the EPA to protect their interests. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Vishani Raghuber.